Let's talk about this new movie, Grafted, that I had the chance to watch a couple of weeks ago. It will be coming onto streaming this week, and it definitely is worth checking out on Shudder. It is directed by Sasha Rainbow, and it stars Eden Hart, Jess Hung, Jared Turner, and the plotline for this movie reads: a bright but socially awkward exchange student takes her craving for popularity to horrifying heights. Now, I don't want to give too much away about this movie because I think it's best to go into it not knowing much and really letting the story open itself up to you. So before we get into it, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. We will have a spoilerish talk over the weekend once this movie does release, so I don't want to give too many spoilers here, but if you want to talk spoilers after watching it and my thoughts on certain scenes and things like that, make sure you're subscribed and notification bell on. But let's get into Grafted. So this movie premiered at some festivals, and I was hearing some great stuff about it. I was waiting and waiting to watch it, and I finally got the opportunity to watch this movie, and I will tell you, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I think that this is one of those body horror movies that really is trying to push something new and give us some exciting things in the genre, and it really does do that. It sort of feels at the same time sort of like Reanimator meets The Substance, and you throw in a little bit of Cronenberg here and there, and that's exactly what this movie is, but there's still a voice behind it that feels unique. That's exactly what this is. I thought that it was acted brilliantly here, especially by the lead actress who plays Wei here. I thought Wei is a really interesting character. It was played by Joanna Sun, and you also have her cousin played by Jess Hong, and there's a lot of instances where these actors are playing different roles per se. I think that they really do a great job at elevating and showcasing the differences and things like that. This movie has some pretty good effects, honestly, for a movie that's not like you would say Hollywood film and things like that. It does do great with what it has, and it does present these very unique and I would say at times very sick looking effects that are working so great in the movie, and that's all I'll say about that. It does have a bit of a comedic tone to it as well, and I think the film really balances that well, because there's moments that you're watching it and you're laughing and you're just like, that was actually quite dark, and I'm laughing about it as well, because it's really light on its feet. And that's something that can be a bad thing sometimes with a horror film that tries to do comedy. It can sort of lean too heavily on the comedy that by the time you're watching it, nothing really feels scary or jarring anymore, and it just is like slapsticky, But I think Grafted sort of finds that balance to keep the comedic timing great, at the same time the creepiness factor, and is still able to kind of gross you out with some of the things that are happening. I think that the film also goes at lightning speed in a great way, because it does tell a whole story in a pretty short amount of a runtime, but it doesn't feel rushed or anything like that. It feels complete. It feels that there is something here worth checking out, and I really do love when a movie is able to do that. I just watched Presence last week. Same thing. It's a very short, fast film, but it's able to really present its ideas in a concrete way. And I hate to say it, but I watched The Wolfman last week as well, and that's a movie that does the opposite, where I feel like it could have been better with a couple extra minutes added in there, because it's felt too much like it was going at lightning speeds. Overall, I think that Grafted is one of those movies worth checking out if you have the chance. It's on streaming. It's a great movie if you want to watch it with friends and things like that. Like, it's a fun horror movie. I wouldn't say it's a gateway horror movie, because it still is a little bit more on the side of body horror and things like that, which I don't think a lot of people really dig like that or would want to see it as an entry-level horror, but I think that it does work its way into an entry-level body horror genre. That's, I guess, how you could see it. And I think if you enjoy films, like I said at the beginning, like Reanimator, David Cronenberg's films, as well as The Substance, you might find this one very exciting and something along those lines. So definitely worth checking out if you're into that as well. It doesn't really do like the gross out gore-ish. It does have some cartoonish gore to it, like a vibe like that, almost like a pulpy graphic novel sort of thing right there. Like, this would have worked great as a graphic novel, honestly, now I'm thinking about it in my head. So it doesn't really go all the way there, but it's still there. So if you're a little bit squeamish about things like that, you might want to be wary with this one. But solid acting, a very interesting story, a good twist on the body horror genre as well, adding some social commentary here and there, not really getting too heavy with it, and still delivering great comedic tones. This horror movie is definitely one that lives up to the hype it got at some of the festivals. I heard about it at Brooklyn Horror Film Festival, and I didn't get the chance to watch it then, but I truly am happy I did. And I'm excited to see everybody involved here flourish into their careers, Very curious to see what the director Sasha Rainbow does next, as well as the writers, which include Sasha Rainbow, Lee Murray, and Mia Maramara. But comment your thoughts and your opinions down below. Are you excited for this movie? Are you going to be watching it on streaming this weekend? Or what movie are you going to watch this weekend? Presents does release as well this weekend, which we just did a review for. We will have a spoiler talk for both of these movies over the weekend. So if you've watched those movies and you want to get into that spoiler talk, don't worry, we're going to get into it all this weekend, as we always do with every movie. We talk spoilers because we just love to talk about movies and discuss them. But yeah, if you watch this movie, I'm very curious to learn what you think about the movie and if you liked it or not. As always, make sure you follow us on our social medias, whether it's on TikTok, if that ever stays or not. We do have our website, www.culturalelixir.com, where we post a ton of other things. We got a ton of news today, the Opus trailer and things like that. That will be discussed tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And we got a ton of new movies that we're going to be watching as well this week, so very excited for that. And as always, I'll see all of you next time. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers. We're about to hit 37,000 is about to be hit, and I'm super happy about that. Thank you so much to everybody who continues to watch and support. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.